Have you noticed grocery prices skyrocketing at your local supermarket? Picture this. A typical American family shopping for their daily essentials, their eyes widening as they confront soaring prices on items they've always relied on. It's not a fluke or seasonal surge. This is something much bigger. What if I told you that the culprit might be our government's new tariff policy? In today's video, we'll uncover how these tariffs are driving up the cost of everyday goods and forcing consumers to pay more than ever before. Stay tuned to see how this affects your wallet. Let's dive in and see. Tariffs are essentially taxes imposed on imported goods, designed to protect domestic industries by making foreign products more expensive. When tariffs rise, the cost of bringing these goods into the country increases, and this additional expense is ultimately passed on to consumers through higher retail prices. This effect is known as imported inflation. Imported inflation occurs when the rising costs of imported products drive up overall consumer prices, affecting everything from electronics and clothing to food and household items. As prices climb, consumers find that their everyday purchases cost significantly more, altering their spending habits and stretching household budgets. Recent estimates indicate that the new tariff policies could force each American household to shell out an extra $3,800 to $5,200 every year on consumer goods. This added burden means that families may have to cut back on other expenses just to keep up with the rising cost of living. The increased prices aren't isolated to a single sector. They ripple throughout the economy, contributing to a general rise in the cost of living. As people spend more on basic necessities, they may have less disposable income for leisure or savings, potentially slowing economic growth. Ultimately, while tariffs are intended to bolster domestic production by making imports less competitive, they inadvertently trigger imported inflation, leading to higher consumer prices and shifting spending habits. This dynamic creates a contentious debate. Are these policies truly benefiting the American economy, or are they simply placing a heavier burden on everyday families? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The implementation of new tariffs has led to noticeable price increases in several imported goods that are staples in American households. Products such as coffee, seafood, and electronics have been particularly affected due to their heavy reliance on imports. For instance, the U.S. imports the majority of its coffee and seafood, making these items susceptible to cost fluctuations when tariffs are imposed on exporting countries. Similarly, many electronic devices are manufactured abroad, and tariffs on these products have resulted in higher retail prices for consumers. In response to these anticipated price hikes, a significant number of American consumers have begun stockpiling essential goods. Surveys indicate that approximately 20% of Americans are purchasing more items than usual, primarily due to concerns over impending tariffs. This behavior mirrors patterns observed during previous economic uncertainties, where consumers aimed to mitigate future financial strain by securing products before prices escalated. While stockpiling may offer short-term relief, experts caution that such practices can inadvertently contribute to supply shortages and further price increases. Excessive demand driven by panic buying can strain supply chains, leading to the very outcomes consumers seek to avoid. Therefore, it's advisable for consumers to stay informed about trade developments and make purchasing decisions based on accurate information, rather than fear-driven impulses. Tariffs are imposed on imported goods to protect domestic industries, but they often lead to higher consumer prices. When tariffs increase, the costs of imported products rise. This phenomenon is known as imported inflation, and those added costs get passed on to American families at the checkout counter. Recent estimates suggest that new tariff policies may force each U.S. household to pay an extra $3,800 to $5,200 every year on consumer products. These increased prices affect everyday items such as coffee, seafood, and electronics, which Americans rely on for their daily needs. The result is a significant strain on household budgets and altered consumer spending habits. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in in-depth analysis of economic trends and policies that impact everyday life, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you high-quality content to help you better understand the world around you.